Welcome to the Parody, where we tally up the victims in our favorite movies. I'm Chelsea Rose, and today we're looking at Poseidon Legacy, released in 2024. The film is a sequel to Mr. Apple's The Poseidon Adventure from 2022. However, even with me not covering the previous one, I'll still probably be able to pick up on whatever's going on. Both this and the previous movie can basically be sourced back to the 1972 film The Poseidon Adventure. Therefore, you could also make the argument that this is also based off the 1969 Poglico book with the same name. The movie takes place on a ship called the SS Triton on a New Year's trip. However, like last time, a cartoonishly large wave decides to capsize the ship. However, the capsizing this time takes place halfway through, which gives us another half for the characters to deal with their survival. Therefore, since there's only so much you can do with all this, the movie clocks in at only 84 minutes. However, it is kept up with a relatively fast pace that continues throughout the second half. However, so much time dedicated to the second half leads the third act to only being about 10 minutes without credits. That's fucking short. Kinda like the movie itself in a way. Will this big-ass wave secure a big-ass body count? Let's find out and get to the kills. The movie begins with host Trevor Evans declaring that in 2025, the SS Poseidon sank. Wait, no shit, I mean 1973. The wording's just really confusing. Thousands died, and since then, they've been losing money fast. That means the naval line behind that same ship is going to rebuild it under a different name, the Triton. However, the Poseidon is still underground, and if it causes an earthquake, there will be a huge risk. Yeah, Wilbur, I know what huge risk you mean. You mean a title card! After that, Wilbur walks off set to go look over a friend's house who's currently hiking in the Rockies. However, for having standard human empathy, he gets fired. We cut over to the Mediterranean Sea on December 30th, 1994, 2 days before Evil. On the ship is Wilbur, who probably didn't decide to look over his friend's house after all. Instead, he decided to document the ship and whatever happens to it, as well as similarities to the Poseidon. Along with Wilbur, he has his camera crew of Axel and Sean. The guy wondering what's all this gets a New Jersey joke thrown at him because his name is Jersey. He gets going so he can meet Lawrence, the preacher on the ship. I like the disclaimer saying none of this is true. He's saying all this to a drunken stupid passenger named Heather, that mountain climber named Donnie, and Adrian, who's literally described as Donnie's friend. Before this, Lawrence is spurring some weird shit because Heather is a drunk driver. Heather's bewildered friend is Diane, who's currently wondering why the hell she even did that. Turns out she just thinks he's scamming people. They reach her something room in this boat, and Heather decides to take to bed for herself. Hope you like sleeping next to Fred, Diane. Let's meet more characters like Desmond the Earth Drummer. He's part of the music group on the ship who's gonna put on a big show on the day of the new year. Their performance goes to shit real quick when they realize they don't have a singer. Best you get one since you only have 2 days to do so. Axel, I'm pretty sure, goes down to another part of the ship to look for a singer and meets this cool looking guy. He can balance shit on his nose, and his family singing record goes back to the 50s. He gets declined for it though. However, another guy, Derek, came in and he's a singer and overheard all that, so he'd be eager to join. Axel leads him into the concert hall to show off the cool lighting. However, the con of it is he has to introduce himself. We go back to KB&A Studio where we see Trevor's colleague Martin roll up looking like Roblox Nagito Kamida in a tuxedo. That's how he learns he was fired.
That's absolutely comical. First day, he's gone.
Gotta hand it to the uncredited voice actor. Half sounds like him too. We go over to random broadcasts, which include a show about a plane. Oh shit, that plane's crashing hard into the sea. And whatever, man, sometimes I like to break my own rules, so let's count the pilot and the co-pilot in this show as our first 2 kills of the count. Absolutely no way we're going to survive a nosedive into the ocean like that. It cuts to a Titanic program, and a program about a guy punching a door to death. Yeah, Lauren, that shit's entertaining as hell. Why'd they cancel it? Something that's better, probably a program that hasn't been canceled yet, with electricity going down everywhere. Or Lawrence is trying to get prepped up to part the Mediterranean Sea. That's before he gets a woman coming over to his door. She's a fashion designer named Virginia.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
What?
Okay, dude. Anyway, she just wants to know when he starts his sermons, which is about 7 p.m. But also, both of them don't know when the upcoming New Year's party begins, so maybe they should just walk away from each other. Oh, and he's also misattentive at times too. Before the New Year's party, let's meet one more character to square off our cast. Sergio, who's the place's chef/waiter. Is he making salad for a New Year's party? Now it's December 31st, and we can get to the New Year's party after we see all these shots of stairs. Yep, that's what we're waiting for. The official New Year's party for 1995. There's a lot of extras here, and it's a bitchin' party filled with alcoholics.
Sir, this is your 14th drink in the past 30 minutes.
Donnie's here getting drinks from a guy named Howard Tossig. He recognizes his name because of an ancient-ass newspaper found in his grandma's attic. Because Donnie knows a lot about his story, Howard wants to know about his. Donnie's story is that back in the day, he used to climb mountains. That is until one of the people he was climbing with died. Her name was Vera, and since we see her in video form, I'm gonna add her to the count. However, we're still at the party and we haven't met more characters. That's when we meet Roy, who's just a passenger on the ship. He's told not to go into the party because of a lot of chaos. Heather and Diane, for some reason, had a reservation for the ship's equivalent to Dorcia. Pretty sure another part of these scenes why it takes a full half hour to get to the actual disasters, so the characters can, like, know each other, I guess. Speaking of the ship Dorcia, Adrian and Donnie are making their way up there now. Oh hell, even at this fancy-ass place, we have some celebrities up in here.
She even glanced at me. That was the actual living Mariah Carey.
Hey Sean, we've already gone a week past Christmas, okay? The crew doesn't even know how they managed to get on this ship at all, but hey, at least it's a fancy place. At that moment, Derek tells everybody to look over to the stage. It's only 15 minutes until midnight, so Derek has to tell everybody that 1995 is his favorite number. That means he has to introduce the special guest for the night, the aforementioned Mariah Carey. Sean starts filming this occasion, but Heather starts up some ruckus by cursing in front of the camera.
You the go to like anyway, you pathetic. You're go kill yourself.
Kill yourself. The only reason Heather was saying all that was because Sergio had accidentally dropped their food. However, that's gonna be the least of both their worries because 100 meters below in the Mediterranean Sea, the Poseidon's there. Just as predicted, it falls off the underwater cliff. When it lands on the bottom, it causes a minor tremor and a mild panic on the ship. Guessing the ship just wanted to announce it was officially New Year's, everybody. All seems to be going well, but in the distance, a huge wave is forming. The presence of that wave makes everybody get out of their seats. People just want to know what's happening, but I just think it's deja vu. Like, bro, you've already made a wave do this shit before. With that, the wave officially touches the ship and causes havoc everywhere. And damn, I'm here thinking this would have actually been easy to count. Nope, it wasn't at all. My method was just to count everyone I saw falling, regardless if they die or survive later on in the film. It's closer to actually sticking to the actual death tally this could have had, regardless of how many died off screen. Among this are numerous partiers, just passengers in general, as well as chefs and or other people. With that very simple system in place, I managed to count 58 kills take place during the disaster. And to really sell on the scale of this disaster, the entire sequence goes on for 2 minutes of the film's runtime. Damn, makes people and things falling look like art. With the fan turned off, we get a few survivors confirmed right away, like Derek. Must suck seeing this already counted carnage. Should suck less seeing Roy confirmed alive. In fact, all the people we met to earlier actually survived the disaster, as we could tell because we actually had introductions to them as characters. If we saw them with a profession earlier, that means they're alive. The most obvious survivors are Adrian, who was literally just got Donnie's friend earlier, and Donnie, I think. Because we know he was a mountain climber, he's able to get up there properly. Even though the cameras recorded basically the entire thing, both of them were wrecked during the disaster. You see now? And yes, to round off the survivor list, we got Wilbur. We get a few more shots of bodies, including this one underwater, which I assume I haven't counted yet. Then there's just a random boom! The explosion causes a panic and some more people that didn't die during the initial disaster yet. In fact, the tree falls and kills off 8 of the people we don't need for the later parts of the film. Donnie goes off to find something the other people can go climb up with. In doing so, he finds a rope and another body we can add to the count. Wilbur doesn't know how he's gonna have to climb that, but Donnie's just shocked that he's on board. And with that, all the survivors climb up the rope to get up there. The last one to do so is Virginia, and she doesn't know damn near anyone up there. And even though we're at the halfway point, we still get to know other characters like Roy. He was on the ship because tomorrow is the last day he could see his friend Charles. Oh shit! Well, just be glad you survived this disaster so you didn't have to go on there, because judged by your friend's name, I know he had separate plans. Vane enlists the help of Donnie to make sure the hallways are safe, and he does it because he heard stuff down there. He checks further to the stairs, where there's a whole lot of debris. Also, Virginia wasn't the last person to climb up. It was actually the preacher, Lawrence.
We both know it's too late.
I'll just say it right now, Lawrence's voice actor, Fun Brick Swan, gives an electric performance to this guy. Also, speaking of voice actors, you can let me have a cameo in one of your movies. I don't mind. Who said that? Well, I got bad news for you. The explosion from the engine room has caught up to Donnie and everyone else. Now it has, and he starts booking it and narrowly dodges it. Oh shit, as well as Desmond, who gets to jump even narrower. As for Lawrence, he's caught up in the explosion and gets flung back down to the party. Well, aside from the people dying, there is one more survivor, Heather.
You know what? I want to punch everyone, but I'll make an exception.
I've wanted that too.
Really?
I hope those morons that came in get their heads slammed to their desks
And then
thrown into an incinerator.
incinerator.
Huh?
Yeah, over people over here, yeah, you might want to check in on those two. However, Donnie got his face grazed by the explosion, so he's gonna need some checking in on. Axel's senses go off to tell him that there's some people that need help in the kitchen. However, there's really only one person there, Sergio. However, doing that cost him his life. With water levels rising, they have got to get out of here. Heather and Wilbur meet back up with the rest of the people just so they can get upstairs. So what's going on with you?
Hey, it'll be fine. All of us are gonna get out of here.
What the fuck was that?
Hey! You need to get your act together. Get it together. There's no benefit from this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Judging by how the ship is upside down at this point, they need to go up or down. What's the sense of direction anymore? Their current method is getting out through the club since it's at what's now at the top of the ship. Thus begins a long-ass scene of people going upstairs. And it's a lot of people going upstairs for a long time. Meanwhile, Virginia and Diane, who were previously unfamiliar with each other, decide to go up together. No, wait, this is 1995. I will say this, it does add a bit to the movie's suspense, because you never know who's gonna be swallowed up by the ocean next. And if you really know, you'll really know, because Jersey's just right here saying he's gonna die. And he also can't move, so he's gotta depend on other people, but those other people just let him behind. It's at the risk of their own lives at this point. And when he does move, though, it leads to him and a few other people eating shit. Especially him as he falls down like a pinball machine. However, like I said, the only thing the other characters do is just stand there. Virginia eventually dies, remembering the disregard the other people had for life. Eventually, all the other people make it up to the club. It's been wrecked at this point, with sparks going off everywhere.
Dang it, Howard.
I'll just pretend I counted them earlier. Derek says there should only be one leader because Desmond sucked at the stairs. Desmond's peeved to be sure, but he goes along with that at Derek's insistence. The only goal in this room is to just not touch the water because you'll get electrocuted if you do. Don't want to get carried away, you know? One by one, they all get across, even as Sergio learns about dead bodies to count.
Push it like you're pushing Trevor's head into the desk.
Wilbur, right? No answer.
Sir, that voice sounded very feminine. The one to get through is actually Roy, and they make it to Broadway. In other words, a place with what I'll only assume is 2 corpses. Because these kinda look like repeats. Diane tries to get Heather to talk to her, but it doesn't work at all. Speaking about Diane, she's really done with Sean because he's just done complaining even though 4 of them died. Meanwhile, Derek and Desmond get into a rap battle above the electric water. Desmond, you're a son of a bitch. You just tried to kill me. What the fuck? You know exactly why. You're another small bitch. I hope you die. In fact, you should kill yourself. With that other undeveloped feud going on, the others make their way into Broadway. Even Desmond and Derek. Donnie, on the other hand, got his foot stuck in one of the truss beams. That means he realizes his goose is cooked. Falling on Desmond's own disregard, Donnie gets electrocuted off screen. Desmond doesn't want Derek interfering again, but he never said anything about Wilbur doing it. Calm down, Wilbur. We're your friends. He takes control of the situation by holding Sergio up at gunpoint. Good God, dude. Maybe that's why they fired you from the network. You're insane. Upon Wilbur's hostage holding, they get moving. They get into a really small area where Sergio takes a huge fall. However, Sergio was only the first person that had to make their way down. Everyone else does so afterwards. Wait, but why'd they all have to make their way down here? Oh! It appears that this is their only way out, making this valve have a whole bunch of water come out of it because of the pressure. He was correct in cause of the group baptism. The water was maybe too much for that room, and it causes a hole to open up, sending us to the third act of the film. By the looks of it, it appears to be in the burnt-up engine room. Roy realizes that the water must have blown Wilbur's gun away, and that they can easily overpower him due to his lack of a weapon. At this point, Heather has also decided to go sicko mode. Wait, where the hell did she get that double barrel? I told y'all to watch out for those two earlier. The first stage of our finale arrives when Roy and Wilbur get into a fight. Stuff goes everywhere, and Diane gets shot at from Heather. Heather repeatedly bashes in Diane's head with her shotgun, much to Adrian's shock. However, doing that cost him his own life too. He falls into the fire and to add death to injury, Heather pushes off that beam to crush him. Desmond realizes that Heather doesn't have her shotgun, so he gives it to Diane. She's like, nah, you can have it, so she gives it to Desmond. She taunts him and she's like, no, you can't do it.
I'm still gonna be the only one walking out of here.
Wait, then what was that playing with Wilbur earlier?
Where's the fun when there's a horde of others in the spotlight?
We are gonna be the sole survivors. Isn't that right, Wilbur?
Yeah, I thought so. What's with this? It's only gonna be me. She tells Donnie that he should probably reverse his expectations. Desmond, you and Derek were in a rap battle when he said that. I don't think you should take that too literally. In other words, Heather rigged the gun to make it shoot backwards to kill Desmond instead of her. So I guess for Desmond, it's
The end.
Meanwhile, Roy and Wilbur continue for fighting.
Rot in hell!
Huh, looks like Derek should have interfered after all. Roy gets Wilbur down to the ground, which is gonna set us up for satisfaction. There it is! Good job, Derek and Roy. Although, I guess you should go and kill the other maniac. Speaking of her, there she is, disvaluing more life. Although, I have no idea why she's the ultimate villain of the movie. Also, speaking about guns from earlier, looks like Diane has found a spare. Diane has finally decided she's had enough of her friend's shit. After telling her friend to shut the fuck up, she shoots past her just so she can get steamed. And hey, just to be sure, make sure she can't get out of there, alright? After finding a hatch, the survivors go through a tunnel in order to make it to the outside. They definitely aren't going to be the same after this, but they should just cut their losses and get out. However, another person did survive the ordeal, Sergio. With all of her troubles put behind them, they can finally get off this ship. The movie ends with Martin interviewing all of them. Sean says it was just a blur, except Axel. Roar made a friend and then lost too. Sergio says it was chaos and watched hundreds. Wait, I only counted 80. Where'd you get hundreds from? Diane's realized that her best friend was a psychopath. And Derek says he shouldn't have just been harsh on everyone because they were trying to get out. But Derek guesses that's just how it is, as the final shots of the movie show the Triton sinking to the bottom of the sea. How many people weren't told that the Triton was going to be sailing on a wave pool? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Hey, speaking of waves, what's out over there? Shit! I counted 83 kills in Poseidon Legacy, if you include the program pilots and Vera. The victims consisted of 48 men and 35 women, giving us a gender breakdown that's almost the exact same as the Belko experiment. We haven't seen this count on the parody before, but we saw a count 3 less than it with Moon Wars The Future Soldier, which will be relevant. With a runtime of 84 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 1.01 minutes. I'll give Amethyst Flamethrower to the entire sinking of the Triton because that was a cool sequence. I don't know how long the sequence took to make, but hours well spent in my opinion. Broken Pistol will go to that underwater body since that is the least to offer with all the kills going on here. And that's it. Poseidon Legacy was released in 2024, and I think Mr. Apple should do more disaster films so we can see how people manage to get out of it afterwards. Probably look like other kinds of disasters though. Until next time, I'm Chelsea Rose, and it's been The Parody. On the next parody. It's been a while after the Moon Wars, and the terrorists are arriving. I know how to stop this shit. Meeting Zane Pellicer. He's got friends that play solitaire and a family that fought those wars. Thankfully, he has the Legion on his side, and after terrorists don't sing but still kill an ancestor, it's time for a Nerf war. This week, you can watch the last of the chronology of Time Heroes and one of the first to be released, Moon Wars: The Future Soldier. Zane isn't the first sound of the future, but he is the first soldier that gets roped with clocking in the future. Maybe that's why to call him that. You can also watch Zarn return for the third act. He doesn't even get out of it. After watching the movie, you can get to the future and watch the parody on Deadbeat Parody. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Bring me home one of those strippers. Give me a Kim Kardashian chick. Moon Wars: The Future Soldier can be watched on the 101 Stop Motion YouTube channel. Form your own opinion. Tune in on the date on screen. Thanks a lot for watching this parody. Now that I'm out of the... well, let's just say hell, to say the least, I can do like a lot more to be more active on this channel. So that's why I'm going to do a couple of live streams throughout the summer. The next one I'll have scheduled for June 1st. I think you can see why. Obviously, I can't keep up that promise if like anything like big goes on, but if I disappear for a day, you know, I'll probably be back the next day with the parody. Speaking of the next parody, as you saw, that's going to be the recount for Moon Wars: The Future Soldier. So, thanks for watching.